Hey guys, what's going on here? What's going on? Joseph Fulmer here again. And thanks to the COVID-19 that's going around, unfortunately, fortunately, I guess, since it's going around, the county that I live in is under stay-at-home order. I got some dirt on me. Dang it, it's not coming off. And even though technically, as a mechanic, I am an essential employee, as under the order, you got to have work. And if people are staying at home, their stuff doesn't break. And with the economy the way it is right now, and some people being furloughed from work and others just not sure what's coming up next, people are kind of holding off on stuff they need done unless it's an absolute necessity. So we're definitely a little slow. And my boss said, since we don't have a whole lot of work, there's no sense in me going to work and him paying me to sit there and stare at the walls. So, which makes perfect sense. I mean, he has bills he has to pay, even if we're not making money. So, we've got, just like any other business, unfortunately. So we're all in the same boat. But just because they ask us to stay at home, and sorry if the camera's moving around a little bit, my arms are a little tired. Just because they ask us to stay at home doesn't mean we have to stay inside, doesn't mean we can't do anything. And the reason I'm shooting this video live for you guys is because, hopefully maybe I'll see a few people join in. I got one. Hi. I just saw you pop up there. I'm shooting these live because I haven't had time to actually sit down and edit anything, because I've been trying to get some projects done. Since I'm not at work, I've got supplies here that I've picked up for projects here and there, and I've got other things I need to do, and I'm going to kind of show you one of those today and how it ties in with what's going on. So, as you can see behind me here, I've got right over there, I've got the tractor and the trailer, and I don't know if you can see all that mulch, but this has been our garden here for the last couple years, and right over, right in here, right along there, those are blackberry bushes. And I kind of fell down a little bit the last 2 years. We've been so busy. I haven't had the last year I put a garden in, it got overrun by weeds, and we did get some stuff out of it, but not as much as I liked, because I just didn't have time to get out there and take care of it. So this year I decided we're going to try and do basically a mulch garden. And so yesterday afternoon, and then pretty much the better part of the day today, I've been moving mulch, and you can't hardly tell. I'm gonna angle you down there a little bit. That mulch is about a foot deep there, and you can see it runs all the way over to behind the tractor. I've still got some more to go. And the tractor and the trailer that are back here in the background are how I've been moving it. We've got it piled up on another part of the property. All this mulch came from the power company, and they were chipping in the area. And we had a spot where they could dump it, so they were dumping it for us. The only problem is I have to move it to get it to the garden. And I've got a bobcat that I'm using to load it on the trailer. The only problem is it's so wet around the garden area, I can't get in here with the bobcat, and it just wouldn't be feasible to run it back and forth one bucket at a time anyway. I'd tear too much up, and for what little I'm getting done. But I've been piling that trailer as full as I can, and then I bring it over. I use a 3-point on the tractor to lift the trailer up in the air, and that way I just have to rake it off. But where I want to kind of go into this here, part of the reason that I'm putting the extra effort in on this year especially is because one thing that we're seeing, I think, with everything that's happening right now, is we're learning very quickly that unfortunately people aren't as prepared for this as they should be. And by the way, guys, do me a favor, share the video while you're here. I know I'm cutting off to something else. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Gosh darn it, fly flew right in my eye. Dang it. Oh, I think I got him. Bugger. Anyway, subscribe to the channel. Please share the video, and don't forget to rate it when it's all over with. But anyway, where I want to go with this is, we see all these people out panic buying things, and I think if not everybody's going to be able to grow their own food. Not everybody's going to have necessarily the space, especially if you live in an apartment or something. But you know, one thing you can keep in mind is you can grow some of your own food. That's always a possibility. Let me see if I can get this up where it's not shaking all over the place. There we go. That's a little bit better. Yeah. So what I was saying is not all of us, we can't all grow our own food. Unfortunately, we don't all have the space to be able to put in a garden where we can grow enough to get us through the winter or anything else. And I understand that, but I think one thing we need to, as the American public, need to start thinking about is just being generally prepared for situations like this. Because if everybody kept their pantries full, you know, just canned foods, your dried goods, non-perishable food items, and as you use them, you know, buy the stuff you're going to use, and as you use them, just replenish the stock and always keep a stockpile. And you know, when it comes to toilet paper, paper towels, other paper products, just always keep a spare package, and when you use one package, you know, replace it so you have a spare. And I don't think if we as the American public did that, we wouldn't have seen this craze of panic buying where everybody's out trying to buy as much as they can as fast as they can. And probably there's a lot of people that are out spending money they don't have on this stuff when they're panic buying it, which is not a good thing, because it's all, you know, all the money has to come from someplace. So if we just stay prepared ahead of time, and we always keep our pantries full, and we always keep the necessities that we're going to need in stock, where we have extra at our house, and we just keep that stock replenished, you know, rotate it out as we use it, in the long run, it'll make our economy better and stronger, because we won't have these scenarios where everybody's running out panic buying. There's a huge I mean, it's great for the supermarkets right now because there's a huge influx of people buying things. The only problem is there's going to be a roller coaster, and eventually this is going to peak, and it's going to head back downhill, and all these people are going to have, you're going to have a bunch of people that have a ton of supplies that they can't use in a reasonable amount of time, and so they're not going to be buying anything anymore, and then you're going to head off down that hill, where if everybody keeps a reasonable stock of supplies at their house, then you're not going to have that roller coaster effect. When there won't be that panic buying, everybody will just keep working at a normal volume, and everybody will be prepared for a situation like this. But you know, if you can, by all means, if you can put in a garden, and that way you could freeze your food. You could grow more than you are going to use at that time, and you could freeze it, you could can it, you could do other things with it, and you could teach your children some of these skills, like canning, which is becoming a lost art, because we can go to the grocery store and buy food. So why are we going to take the time to grow it and then take the time to can it if we could just go to the store and buy it? Well, in a situation like this, if you had been growing your own food, canning your own food, like I wish I had the last couple of years, I wouldn't have to go to the grocery store and buy it, and I wouldn't have to rely on the grocery store to supply me with that. So if they're out, I'm fine. I don't have to worry about it. But you know, and you're teaching, you could teach your kids useful skills that they will be able to use in their lives. So pardon all the noise around me. I got trains and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, so what I'm doing with the garden here, back to it, is and you could go on YouTube and you can find all kinds of videos about mulch gardening. Some people call it back to Eden gardening, but the basic principle is the way this garden should work now is the way the forest works. So all the leaves and all the other crap fall on the forest floor, you know, sticks, twigs, whatever. It all falls on the forest floor, and it piles up, and the stuff on the bottom decomposes, and it creates a area where worms and microbes and beneficial bugs and everything can live up underneath the stuff on the forest floor, which is the same thing what we're doing with the mulch. And then when it's in a garden like this, it it has multiple benefits. One, it helps to hold moisture into the soil because it's covering it, and it keeps the sun from beating down directly on the soil and evaporating the moisture out, so you water less. It also, I don't know if I move around on the other side, you won't be able to see much, I don't think either. But it also helps to maintain moisture, because the mulch will, as it gets wet in a rainstorm, it'll hold the moisture, it'll absorb it, and then it'll slowly release it to the plants, which is another benefit, because now you're having to water less, you're losing less water out of the soil, the mulch is absorbing more and releasing it to the plants, so you're not necessarily getting flooded, so you water less. It keeps the weeds down, which is a big thing for me, because that was the problem. That's the reason I didn't put a garden in the last 2 years, is because I just didn't have the time to keep up with the weeding. And I could space the rows apart and still run a tiller through there and minimize some of the weeding, but then every time you till it and you turn the soil over, you're losing more of your moisture, so then you have to water. And then as this mulch breaks down underneath, it releases, you're not mixing it in with the soil. That's not what we're doing. We're just laying it on top. So as it breaks down, it's creating new soil. It's releasing all the nutrients that are in the wood chips back into the soil. And it's creating that weed barrier, because it's probably 12 inches. There's some areas where it's gotten packed down where it's probably 8-10 inches thick, but most of it is about a foot thick. So it's creating a really good weed barrier. And all I have to do to plant is just rake the mulch out of the way, put my seeds in, wait for the seeds to start sprouting, and then as they grow up, I can bring the mulch back in to keep the weeds down. And we'll see how it goes over the summer. I'll revisit this and show you guys how it's going once we get some things planted. But right now, I'm just trying to get the mulch down so I can get started now that the weather's warming up and it's getting nice. So aside from that, guys, I did some work, and unfortunately the other day, it was a little rainy the other day, so I did do some work in the garage. I did a little bit of work on the bike, so that video is going to be coming up as soon as I get the chance to sit down and edit it. I've got a whole bunch of other videos that I just haven't had time to sit down and edit. I've shot them, and sporadically you've seen a couple come up, but that's why I've been doing more of these live videos. So you kind of get to look and see what I'm doing today, like with this. Unfortunately, I'm not necessarily carrying the camera around. I know it's probably not that interesting, the garden here in the background and the tractor sitting over there, but aside from that, I've just been trying to get some content out to you guys and try and keep so you could see a little bit of what I'm doing on a daily basis. And I'll be honest, the only place I've gone in the last week, I went to work Monday, and then I got home from work Monday, and we were pretty well caught up, didn't have much else going. So today's Thursday, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I've been at home. Tuesday, I pretty much worked in the garage because it was raining yesterday morning. I finished up a couple little things in the garage and came out here and got a few things done so I could start working on this project. And I left the house once this morning, and I had to run to the local farm supply store and pick up a bucket of hydraulic oil for the Bobcat, because it was getting a little bit low. I've got to pull the hydraulic pump off. It's got a small hairline crack in it, so that'll be a future video probably. But I had to go get some more hydraulic oil for it so I could start moving some of this mulch. But other than that, I've just been hanging out here at the house trying to get stuff taken care of. So hopefully you guys, when it comes to the stay-at-home orders and the social distancing, or if you don't have to go places, don't go anywhere. My kids have been on me because they want me to go to the grocery store and they want me to buy this and buy that and whatever else. And I told them, I said, make a list, and I will, I'll try and go once a week and get what's on the list, and that's going to be it. So make a list, and that's all the more I want. I don't want to go out in public any more than I have to, because I don't want to risk possibly exposing myself to it and then bringing it home to my family. And unfortunately, my wife, she does have to work, so there's always that risk with her, especially because she works in the public health sector. So there's always a likelihood that she could come in contact with it and bring it home. But we're trying to take as many precautions as possible. And my wife she goes to work, she comes home, and oh, look, lady beetle or ladybug. And she goes to work, she comes home, and we just hang out here at the house. So hope everybody is well. Take care of yourselves, guys. Be safe. Don't put yourselves or your families in any undue risk during this, because heaven only knows how it's going to pan out. And they unfortunately, it sucks. It stinks, but the more we stay at home and the more we stay away from other people right now, hopefully the faster this virus will run its course and start to, I don't think it'll ever disappear, but it'll start to disappear and go away, and hopefully we won't have to deal with it, you know, all summer long or into the fall or anything crazy like that. You know, hopefully we can just get this, you know, let it move past us and get back to our normal lives. So like I said, guys, do me a favor, rate the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. If you already have, hit the notification bell. Check out some of the other videos while you're sitting at home. You might find them interesting, you might find them helpful. Share them with your friends if you do. And please, if you have any questions, put them down in the comments section. I'm be more than happy to answer for you. And you know, if you have any comments, by all means, put them down there. I do enjoy reading them. Yeah, I get a few trolls from time to time, but you know what? That's something we're all gonna have to deal with. So anyway, guys, stay safe, stay healthy. Don't be afraid to get out there, get your hands dirty while you're stuck at home. You might actually have a little fun doing it, and at least when it's all said and done, you've been productive and hopefully not sick. So we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.